So we basically, if you look at Africa, we are in the armpit of Africa. That little corner at the bottom there, sort of between halfway and 2/3 of the way up the continent, bordering. I've forgotten the name of the country at the top. Wait.
Yeah, there's a lot of countries. There's a lot of countries here with tiny countries with
Yeah,
names that I
like
just.
Togo, Senegal, Ivory Coast, just Cameroon and shit. Sorry about that. I've completely
No, that's all
forgotten
right.
what the name of it is.
Carl
And
will
then
look it up.
Congo on the bottom. Yeah, Carl can look it up.
Yeah, Carl's on it.
So we basically on the equator. The equator is halfway between us and Libreville, or 2/3 of the way towards Libreville. We in that equatorial belt of rainforest, which is the second biggest rainforest left in the world. Right there.
And then Setacama itself, what's it like geographically, from a top bird's eye view, I guess?
So it's the second biggest lagoon in Africa. So there's basically what people think is you're fishing a river. You're not fishing a river, you're fishing a drainage. It's a huge, big depression in the land, which is filled up with water with a bunch of little islands in it, or big islands in it, which is probably 80, 90 kilometers long by 30 kilometers wide maybe, so it's a really big mass of water. But there's one little river that comes in, the Rembo Bongo, which flows season round, but it's a small little river, and then otherwise it just is rain. So it's a offlow, whatever you call it, seepage coming out after a thunderstorm, fills up and then flows out. So it's not like it's a river flowing all the time. It's just we call it a lagoon here. So it fills with a tide, and the tide pushes pretty high up in the dry season especially, so you get like salt flowing 30, 25 kilometers up the river, and then rainy season it's flowing out most of the time. So we've had a couple of dry seasons now, which has made the fishing a little bit hit and miss, but on a good rainy season between September and April, May, the fishing is phenomenal because of that. Every storm, there's a storm building up now as we speak. You should get a big storm every second or third day at least. And
is the mouth of the lagoon where it flows into the ocean, is that the only mouth for this lagoon?
That's the only mouth. Yeah. So from where we are, the ocean is 300 meters in that direction. We're right on the lagoon, and then that sand spit runs down for 16 kilometers to the mouth. So where we go down in the evening and fish there, and that is the only lagoon to the whole, the only mouth to the whole thing. It's almost like it's hit a move down, because you can see where there used to be old mouths in the past, and then it's like hit a bit of we call it the mountain, but it's just like a hill thing at the mouth itself, and then it seems to have stopped there, and it's flowing out on that rocky point.
And I guess that's why it's so fishable too. It's just because it's a bottleneck for everything.
Absolutely. It's like when the snapper are spawning early season, all the snapper from that massive big lagoon are coming through that little mouth. So it's not like you're fishing for the same fish every day that are sitting there residentially. You're fishing for tens of thousands of snapper that are passing by every tide. It's an incredible fishery. The amount of mullet and things here, when the mullet decide to run, you can almost walk on them. It's like, they're not living in this area, they're living upstream, but they've all got to get out to the ocean
to spawn or something, do they?
Exactly.
Yeah. Okay.
So most of our tarpon and things come for the mullet. It's like either the mullet or the sardine, but usually the mullet, and that's triggered by spring tide, which is what we just had now, or a really big rain. So if you can get either one of those occurrences and you get a mullet run, fishing's on.
There was a few last night, like it's been hard over the equinox, like those really, really big tides, and then the last couple of days it's been like a little bit, like you shine your head torch on the water and there's a fair bit of mullet jumping around.
Yeah, so that's exactly what you want. So you want it like, you hear at night, it's just like, you're just fluttering. So you shine the torch and it's just a mat of mullet all over the surface.
Yeah, and that doesn't make the fishing hard when there's mullet, that much bait?
It does make it hard because there's a bit too much bait. But so those fish, the mullet, being a mullet, sits right at the surface. So all you got to do is swing something slightly below the mullet, and everything's waiting there to come up and munch the mullet. And even though it's pretty shallow, so the whole lagoon mouth is, if it's 3 meters, it's a lot. But if your mullet is sitting in the first 10 centimeters and everything else sitting in the bottom, and you're swinging below the mullet, you got a flipping good chance. Lures wise, we often find we struggle a little bit more when there's a lot of mullet around. I think the lures don't mimic a mullet as well as a nicely presented fly. But the fly, if there's a lot of mullet around and you put a fly in and get it to the right depth, you're in the money.
And the tarpon here seems so much nastier than the States ones. They're just big and deep,
chunky things.
Yeah, and dark, like
that golden sheen, big black shoulders.
It's crazy, man.
And also, I think there's a big current as well. So it's like, I think they're used to fighting that current the whole time. It's like a trout that you catch in a river compared to the trout you catch in still water. These fish are fighting that current the whole time. Even if you go offshore, there's a huge current flowing south to north. So these fish are fit and just strong, as well as having the current to use to their advantage. They physically fit fish. They're strong, big fish. They're not just cruising around the mangroves munching stuff.
It pumps here too, the current, man. It blows my mind.
The current's absolutely phenomenal. And yet those fish will feed in that current. It's like, I would never have thought fishing back home, the current gets like it, don't even consider it. And that current's what you want. So that if you can, and you literally have to put your fly out and almost run down the beach stripping so that it doesn't just wash like that. And yet the fish are there and they're feeding.
It's crazy. And like, it's one of the few places you can catch big cubera or land-based. Which is
land-based West African cuberas. Probably. I mean, you used to get them all over the West African coast. You still get a couple. Angola, they get a few. Senegal, I think there's a very few. But we've got a really good population. I think we've got quite a lot of offshore reefy stuff, which holds a huge number of them, and then the big protected areas offshore. So those fish aren't living at the mouth. They're coming when you get a good rain or a mullet run. They come in to hunt in that mouth. But you can, to get a 35, 40 kilo fish isn't uncommon. And that on a fly off the sand is just phenomenal.
That's fucking wild.
Do you fish
much here yourself? Like, obviously you